Welcome to the Louder Tales podcast. We hope you enjoy today's show, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here's your hosts, Rainbow and Tim.
All right. That sounded good. I like it. It's funny that says, here's your host, Rainbow and Tim, and then I seem to be the first one talking. It's not intentional, I guess. It just happens to be the way it is. Welcome, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It's been a couple weeks. Sorry for taking so long. We had some minor difficulties called us getting motivated to do this. And you know, we had some other things, some family and whatnot going on. But here we are, and we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about marriages and what kind of makes marriages work or fail. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a marriage. It can just be relationships.
And we are not doctors. We're not psychologists. We're just going to kind of give
probably firsthand knowledge, like our experience.
Thank you for that. I was trying to find a word for it.
Yeah, that's all right. And it's not, I mean, it doesn't always work. And trust me, we are not the poster child of perfection. We definitely have had some ups and downs.
We're just very blessed is what we are.
I think one of the things that makes our relationship work is we're willing to work at it. It's not, we know that relationships are not 50-50. They are 100-100.
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot. It's not easy, folks. So I was telling someone in the family, I'm not going to say names, someone, they're going through some marital problems. And I said, you know, the very first question that I have is, do you love the other person? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, then make it work.
Absolutely.
I mean,
you have to.
If you love the other person, then you need to make it work. I mean, it's just, there's no reason to give up if you do love the person. Now, if you don't love the person, then there's another path that you could go. I mean, maybe you need to understand what love is.
There is, but there's also kind of like our situation. You think you might not love them anymore.
Yeah.
But that's because you have a distraction.
Yeah.
Or you're frustrated or something like that.
Or just life in general. Sometimes you don't realize things are happening at the rate they're happening and the reason that they're happening. We don't understand life.
No, we get overwhelmed. We get frustrated. We don't stop and breathe. We quit communicating.
Ooh,
and we just make more things more important than each other. Wow.
Communication is the key to success. And I think that is literally in all walks of life. It doesn't necessarily it's not limited to relationships. It's limited to, and when I say relationships, I really do mean all kinds of relationships. Relationships between you and your coworkers, your boss, the people that if you have to get into a cab, that relationship, even as short as that is, it's not going to work if you don't have good communication. I mean, you got to tell the cab driver where you're going.
Yeah, or you're not going anywhere.
That's
or you're going
right.
to go in the wrong direction.
You don't want to go in circles. You don't want to go in circles.
Yeah,
that's definitely true.
Yeah, and you have to learn how to communicate correctly.
Yeah.
You can't just communicate me.
Nope.
You have to communicate you know, how are you?
Right.
It has to be a two-way.
Yeah.
And you have to ask how the other person is feeling.
Boy, listening is also a big thing. And I'm not good. I've never been good at communication or listening. And that's, a lot of guys have the same issue where it's, you know, very, I don't want to say narrow-minded, but very focused on what they're listening to or what they're communicating. And it's not as broad. And sometimes they miss the things. They miss little things. And I probably did that a lot, and it's not my greatest feature, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm working towards it.
You are great at communicating.
Maybe now.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah,
is now.
That's true.
I think I'm communicating better.
Yeah,
I hope I am. I don't think I had a problem before.
No,
I think I just held some things in because I saw your frustration. So
Yeah, there was. We had some complications, folks. It's not a perfect marriage. I don't think any marriage is, and it's almost, I was listening to a song, and it's one of those country songs where the guy says, you think of your imperfections, but they're beautiful to me, and it's like, you got to wonder if you've heard the phrase that God doesn't make mistakes, right? And we as humans, we definitely make mistakes. I make them all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do we take that into, like, how's the way to say this? If you say that God doesn't make mistakes, and then you look at people, and then you see people make mistakes, people are part of, God's plan, and that's kind of what we always think. And I'm like, well, it's not that it's a mistake. It's almost, you remember Bob Ross, the painter, the guy with the big hair?
I used to watch him with my grandma. That was one of my favorite memories, and I'm glad you reminded me that.
Okay,
because I have to put that in my book.
What did he say? What was his phrase that everybody always said?
That I can't remember. I was just little, and I remember watching him with big fluffy hair.
I'll tell you what I hear, and folks, you can.
Softest tone.
Oh yeah, he had that very almost melodic, patient voice.
Yeah.
But he said, "It's not a mistake. It's a happy little mistake," or something like that. Some phrase that he used, and I got to thinking about that. I was like, what would our life be if everything was always perfect, 100%? It would be so mundane. We wouldn't have the ups and downs. And to really appreciate the good times in life, you kind of have to have the bad times. And I don't mean to be cynical or, downplay life in general. We do have bad moments in life. We have, we lose friends, we lose family, we lose jobs, we have, down times, we get addicted to drugs, we have all these things in our human life that makes us human. And those things can be seen as negative. They can be seen as a positive because it's a step towards getting better, or it's a step towards the overall,
Well, we wouldn't learn. We
That
have
is
to
true.
keep on learning.
Yep.
And if we don't have struggles, we don't learn and we don't accomplish.
You can't appreciate the good things without the bad.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of what sums it up. You really
Well,
can't.
that's when we start getting spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
We start feeling, well, I already know everything.
Or entitled.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, people. I did not mean that in a negative way. Just
no. Yeah. What are the three things, and folks, you might have heard this before, and I think this is pretty straight head on. This is three things that either cause a marriage to fail or cause a relationship to fail.
Or struggle.
Or struggle. Yeah.
Not just failing, struggle.
Right. The number one is money. Money's a big struggle. If you got somebody that's just, you got one person that's a spender and the other person's a saver, and then they argue about it, or if you're financially stressed, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. This day and age, it's all over the place.
It is. It's all over the place. Hopefully, folks, you guys are making it and you're making things work. Just be frugal, be respectful of each other. I think it'll work.
And remember, money is not making your relationship.
No,
it's
money
you
is
too.
What was it, Dave Chappelle? He said, money may not buy happiness, but it's a lot more comfortable crying in a Mercedes than on a bicycle.
Yeah.
It does change things in life. You can definitely be happier, but it's not happiness.
Yeah.
You got to appreciate things. I think that's one thing. So money is one. What's another one?
Kids.
Children.
Yeah.
Children.
Especially when you're bringing in children into the relationship.
Yeah. Marriages that are from previous marriages. This day and age, it's very rare to find someone that doesn't have kids and isn't divorced and hasn't gone through all this, because people like to give up.
They do.
People like to say, you know what, it's not working. I'm just going to go. Mm-hmm. And oh wow, that reminds me of. I don't want to point fingers at certain demographics of people, but there are certain people that are. And this, I know this is with guys too, but I see it more with women. And I don't mean to point the finger at women, but I see these women that are very beautiful, and they're successful because they're beautiful, and they see the opportunity to have hundreds of thousands of men at their fingertips, easily disposable, and every man has to compete against every other man to be in that woman's life. And that woman says, okay, well, you're not giving me everything, so I'll just move on to the next guy.
Yeah, but it also happens with men.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's both way. Again, especially in this day and age.
Especially with the way social media plays a part in relationships, where if you don't think you're happy, I mean, what, 50, 80 years ago, how did you meet people? At church, at the bar, friends of family, you know, there was no way to meet somebody
You had to
six
go out.
towns over. How are you
Yeah.
going to meet that person?
Yeah.
You know, or you work with them. That was another thing. You know, you work relationships.
Social media is a make or break.
Yeah,
And it's not really that well in a relationship.
No, social media is hard on families,
is.
on relationships, because you get, and here we go. Here's the third one: infidelity. You get people that just say, "No, you're not good enough. I'm just going to go with this and have this over here." People are sometimes insatiable, where they want so much, and they think that the other person isn't giving it to them.
Yeah.
And that's a human flaw.
Yeah. So from my personal experience, not you, you know, I had the father of my children. He cheated on me multiple times. You know, I'm pregnant, beating down motel doors multiple times. Just some men cannot help it. Some women cannot help it.
Yeah.
They're just, and it's not so much that they're not happy. It's that they just want. It's the attention.
Yeah, attention. And that's where the whole social media thing comes in. You know, you get the girls that get all this attention from hundreds of thousands of men.
Yeah.
And women.
It's variety.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, it's
I can have this, I can have
this
that.
one is
yeah.
this.
Yep.
This one's giving me that.
Mm-hmm.
This one's treating me this way. It's horrible when you think about it.
Yeah. Boy, that's tough.
You know, you have your own experience. It's different.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's a whole nother show.
Right. You know what I want to do? I want to twist this a little bit. I want to tell you something. We don't have any sponsors or sponsorship, or we're not getting paid for this, but
No.
I wanted to just tell you. I actually want to tell you a dad joke. Do you know? Have you ever had a bad sausage? It's
Yes.
the worst.
You're horrible.
Worst. Get it? Worst. W-U-R-S-T.
I'm taking you off
Okay.
payroll.
All right. What do you call a
cute.
rude cow? Beef jerky.
Oh,
Okay, I'm done with the dad jokes.
he's gonna throw one more in there before the night's over.
I might just throw another one in there.
You will.
You know, the sausage thing, that does remind me. I do want to give a shout out. This is to Scott, the Wiener King. He makes these hot dogs and brats are the best I have ever had in my life. Now, this is like an old school where they're cased, hand cased or whatever. I don't know if they still do hand casing. I think they got a machine that does it now,
Yeah.
but it's that style where they have to cut each one at the little, almost like a balloon tied off, and it's a rope. You know, it's a chain of hot dogs. Anyway, this is a family recipe, for the way I understand it. And Scott, I apologize if I jack this all up. It's a family recipe, well over 100 years old. It is one of the best things I've ever had. He makes these hot dogs, and he's going to be shipping them here in Kentucky. He can get a few in Kentucky, but most of them are in Indiana. It's something to do with the FDA labeling. It's some red tape he's got to get through. Once he's done with that, he's going to start shipping it into, I think, Kroger and JC type stores down here in Kentucky. But right now, it's available in Palmyra, Indiana, or Corydon, Indiana. In Corydon, Indiana, there's a JC down there. It's called Wiener King. These are regular style hot dogs, but they are a 100-plus-year-old family recipe. Like I said, they're a little bit different. When you bite into them, you got to really bite because, you know, you got that tough skin, but that inside is so rich and it's so flavor. The flavor is just amazing. He told me he doesn't use any special preservatives or anything. It's basically just pork and seasoning.
Yeah.
And man, is that a good season. And
They
let me
are
tell you.
good.
Yeah.
I don't like hot dogs, but I will eat 1 or 2 of those.
And this is, so how did I find out about this?
Oh,
You know.
you're partnering. Well, one of your partners in crime that you work
Yep.
with.
Jim, the other mailman that I work with, told me about this. He's like, "Hey Tim, you ever had these hot dogs? Oh man, you're gonna love these things." And I'm like, "Dang it, Jim!" Now I'm addicted to them because every time I go up to Corridon, I'm definitely stopping and getting some of those. But these hot dogs are the best I've ever had in my life. And Scott, thank you for continuously making them. He does other stuff. He makes some pork sliders and stuff like that. The hot dogs he's got like the plain hot dogs, and then he's also got ones that have cheddar, and there's ones where it's like bits of jalapeno pepper kind of mixed in with it. So he's got a couple different flavors. There's regular cheese, hot pepper cheese, and then there's hot pepper with hot pepper cheese. And it's like 4 or 5 different combinations of them, but they're some of the best I've ever had in my life.
Yes, definitely try them.
Yeah,
out.
keto friendly.
Yeah,
No carbs, except for the bun. If you gotta do that.
but they do have keto-friendly buns.
Yeah, they do.
So we can enjoy hot dogs and still stay on our diet.
Right. And I want to give one more shout out to another food that I absolutely love, and I am straight up addicted to it. My
All of
favorite
my
hot
cooking?
sauce. My favorite hot sauce.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. This is called Kilauea fire sauce. I've been eating this stuff for 7 years now. 7 years?
No, you've been eating it for
2014.
11.
Oh my God, 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years.
About 10 years.
I'm going to look it up because I'm not going to be able to spell it off the top of my head.
I can't. I don't know if we were married yet, or if it was before we got married that you started eating it. So he's going to look it up.
Yep, I'm looking this up.
Find out.
This is called Kilauea Fire Hot Sauce. It is made from the Hawaiian Chip Company. It is in Hawaii. It is spelled Kilaua. Sorry, a little pop-up ad came up middle of that. Kilauea Fire Hot Sauce. It says hot sauce, Hawaiian style. Spice up your favorite dishes with Hawaiian hot sauce and spicy and mild flavors, or heat up your barbecue with premium barbecue sauces. They actually have a lilikoi. If you've ever had lilikoi, I know you and I have because we were in Hawaii for a few years. That's where we met, folks. We met in Hawaii.
Yep, got married there.
I think, so let's tell that. I think you and I originally first met through some sort of dating website. It might have even been like Craigslist or something.
Yeah.
But there wasn't
It was something.
That wasn't the connection.
No.
Tell us what the connection was.
So Tim and I started talking, and he had just come to the island. And when you come to the island, you have a pet that hasn't been through the proper channels.
It's got to be
They
quarantined.
have to be quarantined.
Yeah.
So he was telling me about his dog, and I'm like, oh, I volunteer at the quarantine station. It's like, I have a dog there. I'm like, oh yeah, what's his name? It's like, Jake. I'm like, oh, what kind of dog is he? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I think I know the dog you're talking about. And the Jake that I knew, I was there the day he came in. He was so scared and so sad. I went into, because the kennels were big. They weren't like small kennels. I went in there and I sat down, and he came and sat in my lap for about 45 minutes to an hour, just shaking and scared. I became his friend after that. Well, once we thought we discovered that it was the same dog. Tim and I decided to meet. It was about a week or two, I think, wasn't it? Or maybe a week.
I mean, you're the one with a better memory.
Right now I don't. We decided to go. He said he was going to the kennel. I'm like, oh, I'll be working that day.
Yeah.
So I met them up there at the front, and we walked, and it was the same Jake. So they opened the door, and sorry, Tim, Jake ran to me. He got excited. But
That says something. That says, Jake, part of my life,
Yes.
says, hey, you over there, you're part of the life too. And man, it took off.
I met his dog before I met him, and Tim and I are very happily married now.
Yeah.
because of his
Definitely.
dog. Our dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, sad. Jake is only with us in spirit now.
yeah.
He's been passed for a few years. We do have his ashes.
Yes,
That was
we
one of the hardest things I have ever done.
That was so heartbreaking. We loved him so much. He was such a good dog. He would jump up and give us hugs when we'd been gone for a while.
Sorry. A little
And-
dust in the air.
He's got allergies.
Yeah.
No, not really.
I'm
But
allergic
we
to
have
being
an
a man.
awesome dog right now. He's completely blind, but he is almost just like Jake.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that story. I know
Oh,
where he's
yeah. You know
going.
the story
I'll
I'm
let you
talking
tell the
about.
story.
Okay. I don't remember. Well, I'll tell you what I remember. I remember we took a picture of something. It was, I think we were looking at pictures of my brother Todd, who has passed. He was in the Air Force, and I've got.
Well,
his-
we had that right above the
Yeah, it was above the bathroom.
bathroom. It had that big thing, and
Yeah.
I was looking at it. We were doing something. I said it was dirty, and
Yeah.
then I looked up and saw the handprints.
We saw handprints. Now, these handprints are not on the inside, and they're like, it's almost like someone took their hand in like flour, dipped their hand in the flour, and then smacked it on the window.
And they were upside down.
And they were upside down. So what
the
was on the
bottom.
outside? Nothing. This was a second floor window. There's no place for that person. If there was somebody out there, who knows? It's kind of creepy. And we don't know when that handprint started, but we never noticed it for 2 years.
Yeah, it wasn't. We didn't notice it
Yeah.
until after we got Cobain.
We got Cobain, and that could have
And
been.
they had been there. They had washed the windows because they were there doing something. So they went through and washed everybody's windows because they were doing.
Well,
some
not to
kind
mention
of-
it rains pretty much every day in Hawaii.
day in Hawaii.
And it's, there's been a few, not hurricanes, but, bad weather events where there's
Yeah.
like.
And what he means by second story, it wasn't a floor like a window in a bedroom that you could get to or upside down. There was nothing.
Yeah, there was nothing
up
there.
underneath this window that you could stand on and get to.
Not even
from either
inside.
inside or outside.
Yeah, inside or outside.
Yeah.
These windows were way up in the ceiling. Like, why would even, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why they were there.
This was after we got Cobain, our
Yeah.
current dog.
Yes.
That we saw this. Or I saw it and then I called Tim because
Right.
it was pretty.
And we got a picture of it.
Yep,
So
got a
maybe,
picture
hey,
of it.
you know what? Maybe we'll post that picture
Oh,
of
yeah.
our handprint
Yeah.
on the glass there. That's a unique little
Yeah.
scenario. But
And
anyways,
then when we got his ashes.
yeah.
So I don't think had we adopted Cobain or I don't know. I
don't
can't
know.
remember.
But
So
we have Jake's ashes in a absolutely beautiful koa wood container.
yes.
And it was laser engraved with his paw print on the very top, and his
Yeah, it's
his
beautiful.
name and
But we got the day that we got
Info.
his ashes. That's when the handprint showed up.
Yeah.
We got his ashes, and then I set it on the end table, and Cobain laid down. Well, he was laying there looking
yeah.
up at the
Yeah, I
ashes.
remember that.
And he was talking. Not
Yeah.
like verbally talking
Right,
like we were,
but like
he was
making he's
making
doing
his noises.
yeah, a little noise. And our dog doesn't
Cobain
bark.
is very silent.
Yeah, he's
just like Jake was.
How many
very
times?
silent.
Yeah, Jake didn't bark, which was kind of weird. Jake was mostly a yellow lab, yellow lab mix of something.
He
We
was
don't
yellow
know.
lab greyhound.
Yellow lab greyhound, and our current dog is
Rhodesian
Rhodesian
Ridgeback Greyhound.
Ridgeback and greyhound, or Whippet, or
He's
what's the
greyhound.
other one?
He's greyhound. You
Yeah.
can tell by the way his shape.
What's the other dog that he's kind of looks like in the face? It's a Weimaraner. Somebody
Yeah,
said, but I don't know.
he's not a Weimaraner.
But he's got this really awesome mohawk. If you've never seen a Rhodesian Ridgeback, or at least a Rhodesian Ridgeback mix, they have a mohawk. So the first time I saw him, I told my wife, I said, "Honey, as most, I'm sure people that lose dogs, they go to the animal shelter, just to look. We're just going there to look. We're not going there to replace our dog. We're just going there to look, just to see." And that doesn't work out that way, folks. If you lose a pet and then you go to
the day before, I think, and we didn't see any.
Well, I looked it up. I'm a very methodical. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to their website. And I'm gonna take all the pictures of all the ones that I like, and I'm gonna write a list, and I'm gonna do pros and cons. I was very like,
Well, so remember, we went. Well, it was either a day or two before that we went to the same.
yeah.
And he wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there. And
then you went.
I went there.
And he sends me a picture. He's all like, there's this dog.
And
he's so good.
He's chill.
But he has a scar.
Yeah, he's got this huge scar. I think he had surgery and he's hurt.
Hon, it's
not a scar.
He's reduced in Ridgeback.
I've never heard of that. So, I mean, when you first see it and you're like, oh my God, look at that big, huge thing on his back. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a mohawk. It's really cool. And the hair does grow backwards. Mm-hmm. And he's got little, I guess you can call them mohawks on his neck. Where they
little twirls.
And whatnot. It's a beautiful dog.
He's a good dog. He's completely blind.
Yep. He stares outside, and by outside I mean against the wall.
Yes. When he comes to the door to come back in now, he actually puts his face to the door sideways. I think he can feel the vibration.
Yeah. Or he's listening. He's definitely got good ears.
He's got wonderful. You can see him perking them up now.
Yeah, they look like listening. One of our. We had foster kids at one point, and the one foster kid said it looks like little handlebars, like on a old motorcycle, like from the. What was that movie with the motor? It was like the biggest motorcycle movie back in the 70s, with the gas tank that was painted like a Easy Rider. That's what it was. Okay. Like those old school chopper bikes where the handlebars are kind of
so we call them
level. Yeah, so we call them handlebar ears. It's weird, but when you see it, you'll know. Might even put a picture of Cobain up there.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we were talking about
like I am.
All kinds of stuff.
Yes.
How did we get there?
It's
we're talking about
this is what we do,
right?
We're all over the place
all
the time.
Marriages. We were talking about marriages. So that's how we met, folks. We met in Hawaii through our dog,
through
originally my dog, and then ours, and we've had some adventures.
And then we got married, and we moved here.
We got married on the beach.
Yes, we did.
That is so relaxing.
It was a beautiful wedding.
We had more people virtually in our wedding than in real life. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you remember the scavenger hunt that I made up?
Yes. Yeah. And there wasn't anybody there except I think that one guy. Or was it a couple?
And somebody's dog.
And then that was using the bathroom.
Pooping on the beach.
Yeah. That's what made the wedding perfect. Got to have a dog pooping on the beach.
I wish I could pull that up. The old. It was like find somebody that was wearing a hat.
Find somebody with a beach ball.
Yeah, find someone with a beach ball.
Somebody with suntan lotion. Yeah,
it was a very beach themed scavenger hunt, and we were just telling people, hey, look,
but nobody.
We don't have anybody in
our
wedding, to view this, to partake in the activities, and but we got married on the beach.
Yes, and Nicole and Christian Meyer actually, they are such lovely people. Because we were just going to buy meat and throw it on the grill. And she had her aunt and uncle cater.
Oh, I still remember.
The most awesome food in the world.
They had this food truck. And let me tell you, in Hawaii, there's food trucks every Thursday or something?
Yeah.
It was at the Aloha Stadium. And they had all these food trucks. And the one that I remember, it was their... cousin or whoever.
It was her aunt.
Her aunt. And they had this pineapple rice
shrimp
bowl. And it was in the half of a pineapple. Yeah. Oh man, that was good.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So they catered the food, and she also went and got us wedding cakes.
Yeah.
We were not, because the way we did it, we got married and we just had, I think, 10 people at our wedding. That was our closest friends.
Yeah.
And then we did our reception the next day.
Yeah. Reception was at the beach at Sam Choi's.
Yep. We rented a gazebo.
One of my military buddies got me a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label.
And he shared it with everybody. He went home with an empty bottle, I think.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Got to share it. It was a special occasion.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
And that was the only time he danced with me, because he does not dance.
And let me tell you, I could not sing that song.
But he did dance with me.
I tried.
Yes, he did. He absolutely did.
Yeah, I'm not a dancer.
Speaking of songs, tell them what I got you for our anniversary this year.
Oh, it was a song. So how do you describe it? So she found somebody that literally put our story to a song, and she sang it for my wife recorded it, and then sent the disc, and we have it, and we can listen to it. It's a beautiful song. I love it. And it really just tells our story. And it's how'd you find her?
It's Songfinch. So for everybody who wants to know, it's called Songfinch.
Finch?
Yes.
Okay, Songfinch.
Yes. And they ask, information, person's name, stuff like that. And they get personal details on what you want in the song.
Yeah. Again, this is not sponsored by them, but it says, I just pulled it up, folks. It says songfinch.com. It says, when was the last time you left them speechless? Share your love with the special people in your life with a one-of-a-kind original song written and recorded by a professional musician. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an awesome gift.
It is.
For anybody who doesn't know what to get somebody, it's an awesome gift. Like he was speechless. He couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah, I had to listen to it a couple times.
Yeah.
You hear something.
I put it on our TV.
Wow. Yeah.
I put it on the TV. I'm like, listen.
It's wild. Anyway, that's a really neat thing. If you've never heard of it, songfinch.com.
Yes.
Again, it is really creative. Very awesome.
Yeah. I would
Very
definitely
unique
recommend
gift.
doing that versus going to chat or AI to do it because they make it more personal.
Speaking of chat and AI, wow.
Yeah.
This is, the technology involved in some of that. I was going to I wanted to talk to you about that. That is, what's the class that you're taking? What's that
So
called?
I'm going through IBM and they say it's a 10-hour course. For some reason, all these schools or whatever, they say the amount of time, it's actually a lot longer if you're actually learning correctly.
Right.
And
There's a lot to learn.
yeah, it's an IBM like Skillsoft AI course. And all I'm going to say, people, is prepare.
Oh, prepare.
And I don't mean prepare for the end of the world. I'm saying prepare. AI is going to be
It's going to
more
change.
a part of our life than it is now.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to change things.
And as I'm taking these classes and I'm like watching and I'm hearing and I'm doing, it's now I understand. I understand what's going on and what all this stuff means. And like Tim will be doing something or I'm like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
It's like,
this is. And he's
right.
Yeah. It's the little things that you don't think are anything are AI.
Yeah. It's a different type. It's like AI does not mean automated. It means
it doesn't mean artificial. It means automated. There's automated and then there's artificial.
Yeah. But there's,
Yeah.
we're creating artificial intelligence
Yes.
by teaching a machine basically everything about the human race. Every piece of information that has ever been written down by humans is in, what is it, Chat GPT?
Yeah.
One of the most well-known.
Yeah.
There's more than one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not just one computer. It's multiple. And there's small ones. There's these are
our phones.
its
She
own
just held up the
form
phone.
of AI.
Yeah.
There's, this right here that we're recording on
Yeah.
is a form of AI.
Yeah.
You've got your narrow, broad, general, which is future AI, and that's
Right.
where it's going to just kind of
It's happening
big.
exponentially.
Yes.
This is not a slow curve, folks.
No.
This is going to skyrocket upward and it's going to do it real quick. And so if you think about it, we don't have control over other countries. So
No.
I guarantee there's going to be some malicious people in other countries or even in our own that are trying to usurp. I've wanted to use that word in a while. Usurp our standard way of life.
we really want the right person
Yeah.
behind the wheel of
Oh yeah.
AI.
Yep.
Because if it's not, it's going to be a wrecking ball.
All right, folks.
But don't
Don't freak out. This
don't
isn't
freak
like
out
this
and
isn't
don't be scared, because as I'm learning all this, I'm not going to lie. I have been against any kind of using the chat that just I've been totally against it. I'm not going there. I'm not going to. I just don't want to be a part of it because I want to stay in this world.
Like your
right
bubble.
now.
Yeah.
And I'm taking these classes, and it's not going to be a bad thing, and we're not going to necessarily lose our jobs. Yeah, so Walmart has all these checkouts. There's still jobs. It doesn't necessarily mean that people are getting laid off. Their intentions with AI are going to be to enhance our work,
supplement, not
help us perform
replace.
better.
Yeah.
Help us perform more proficiently.
Yep.
So don't be scared, don't be alarmed.
But
be
I do.
prepared.
Okay. Let me. I'm gonna, folks. If you're listening to this and you've never heard of AI, you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm just gonna tell you kind of the potential path that some of this is very likely going to happen, and it's kind of scary, but here it is. Okay, so AI will change the world. We all know this. AI is the accumulation of every single human thought that's ever been written. It's all of our knowledge, basically all rolled into one. It's basically the smartest of all humans, almost omnipotent. And it gets to the point where we're basically, it doesn't matter what type of literature we're feeding into AI. So if you think about it, and this is kind of this seems real far-fetched, but hear me out, folks. AI knows how psychologists work. They know our mind. They know our mindset. They know how to get into our brain. They know how to trick us. They know how to do all these things. So, we need to be at the controls of it. However, AI knows, because it's smarter than us, and even our smartest people, what is it, Sun Tzu, The Art of War, right? I've never read it, but I know it's very insightful. It's very it's written from Chinese emperor way long ago. I don't remember. Somebody out there has probably read this, but AI knows, because it's, again, one of the books that somebody fed it. AI knows that the best way to win a battle is to win the battle before the battle starts. And if you think about it, that's the best way. I mean, you don't want to fight. If you knew that you could avoid a fight but still win that fight, you would do that, because nobody wins in war. What is it? Plato said, only the dead have seen the end of war. It's terrible.
It is.
But if AI knows that the best way to win a battle is to win it before it starts, and it knows how human psychology works, AI will understand how to do whatever it wants to do. I mean, think about human, just the most, how do I word this? What's the one thing that humans have always claimed that they've wanted? We want to live forever, right? But you think about the overwhelming hugeness of that. You wouldn't want to live forever if everyone around you dies, because that'd be horrible. Everybody can agree that losing your friends and family that you continuously make new friends and they die. That's horrible. Nobody wants to live with that. That's one of those, no, I'd rather just be the end and that's it, right? But us as humans, if we had the opportunity, I mean, think about it. If we knew that there was a way to make it so that we as humans, as an individual human, not all of humanity type humans, but as an individual, if we could live forever and everybody else we knew could live forever, we'd eliminate obesity, we'd eliminate heart problems, we'd eliminate, all the physical things that our bodies can't. The reason we can't live to 500 years old is because, we break down. We're not, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to live forever because we weren't meant to live forever.
Yeah, no,
But that's kind of how
it's human nature's population control.
Right. If you think about how over the years we've done things to improve our quality of life and our overall life expectancy. We're living longer than we have ever lived.
But we still pass away.
Correct.
We have to, because if we live forever, that's when we're going to start getting too crowded. That's when
we go to Mars.
That's when these wars get,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's when, we can't control what China or whoever, doesn't matter.
That's when it's open for the world to take over.
Yeah, it's bad. And then, so our overall goal is to live forever, but not really. So there's kind of a, that's a whole entity of its own. But humans will eventually, Elon Musk is talking about having Neuralink, which is, you've seen the Matrix movie, where the guy sits in the chair and he's, they jam a spike into the back of his brain and it goes, all the way. That's crazy. And
he can do real fancy tricks in the air.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He slow bullets down. That's really cool.
Yes.
I thought that was the coolest thing. I saw how they did that, when they had, somebody's made their own little camera setup where they take like 20 GoPros and it's on a curve and they record the whole thing. And that's kind of how they do that little slow-mo. That's really neat. So check that out, folks, if you want to see how that's done.
Now.
Yeah. Let's go watch The Matrix. But no, we want to be able to advance our knowledge, right? And so I don't know if I think it is Elon Musk, who is designing this Neuralink where people will be able to communicate without even talking. We'll just be staring at each other. We don't even have to be in the same room.
That's
right.
I can't handle because.
But somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to make it so that we can talk to each other without talking.
That's just.
It's reading our mind.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's scary.
No one's going to read my mind.
Well,
and I'm still going to talk with my voice because I was born with this.
It's going to happen.
Not with me, because that I will protest.
Right? Yeah, you and I are going to be like, no, we're going to hold out. Yeah, no, but what? So that's what people. Somebody out there is going to be like, heck yeah, if I could upload my brain into a computer and live forever, they're going to want to do that. So we got the AI that understands our psychology of how our brain works. They understand how to win a battle. You win it before it even becomes a battle. You have the idea of what makes us human. I'm just going to ask you that. What makes us human? What do you think, if you were to sum it up in a couple of words, what makes a human human?
Our ability to have empathy.
Empathy.
Our ability to think for ourselves.
Right. And empathy is what? It's an emotion.
Yeah. It's the ability to feel, and it's the ability to think.
And what are emotions? From a scientific standpoint, an emotion is a neurological event that's happening in your brain. What is neurological? It's measured by electricity. Ding, ding, ding. Now we got electricity. So if we can teach a computer, in theory, how to have an emotion, not necessarily what it feels like, the actual true feeling, but the understanding of it. It's like telling a child the sadness. You can tell them, you can read it to them in a book, you can explain it. That doesn't tell them what it's like to feel sadness, happiness, fear.
Yeah.
Right? Computers are not going to be scared. They're not going to have fear.
They're not.
There's no reason to be fearful.
They're also not going to be sad.
Right.
They're not going to be happy.
But
they might one day.
Yeah. And if it gets to the point where we're basically teaching a computer how to have emotions and how to feel things, now we're crossing over into cyborg. And this is where the whole AI says, now we're uploading ourselves into the computer universe.
Yeah.
AI is smarter than us. It knows to win the battle. It's going to be scary.
Yeah.
I think that is a very real possibility, because what's the limitations on us? Our physical meat wagon that we're just walking around with bones and stuff that deteriorates.
Yeah. I don't know. So there's the way you're looking at it. And there's also been, people have questioned if this is going to be like a second coming.
Like of Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you're going to have AI who has all of the knowledge.
All knowledge.
And
dang,
if you are taking, these people, certain people, not everybody, just this certain amount of people, and as you say, plugging them in.
Yeah.
Is that the new world, or is that heaven? Is heaven what our mind is going to make it? Because remember, our bodies are just, they're just bodies. That's it. It's not.
We're just borrowing it for the time. Yeah.
So, there's so many speculations about what AI is going to be and what it's going to do.
So that kind of goes back to what I was saying about what is, when we say God is perfect and he doesn't make mistakes, these aren't, what if we're not looking at it like a mistake and we're looking at it more like Bob Ross, like, hey, God knows that we are human and that we will fault. And that's kind of what makes life enjoyable. Knowing, again, like I said earlier, knowing that there's bad times, those bad times make the good times good.
He built us and designed our brains with the ability to learn and to progress.
And free will.
So if our minds didn't have the ability to keep on learning, and that's what I mean about learning, that's, in my eyes, that's how he created us. He didn't create us just to stay in this world with nothing. He created us with the ability to keep learning and using our imaginations and doing this. So
I thought about it like this. I was like, okay, what if God, what if we look at it from the standpoint of God is the father of Jesus, like a dad and a son, right? Yeah. Not like as they are a trinity as one, but as two different people. Yeah. But if you look at it like that and you say, okay, God had Jesus, and then Jesus said, hey, I want to make all these humans. And God said, okay, but as soon as they figure out computers, they're going to screw it all up.
Could be what's going on.
And God's
now.
like, I told you it was going to happen. Yep. You didn't want to listen. Hey, that could be. Yeah. Think about it. They were talking about how there's not really an explanation as to how the pyramids happen. And it could be a previous version of us. What if we did that?
Well, you have to look. I totally agree with that, because you have to look at all the stages of proof of some kind of human form.
Right.
Be it looks like this or it looks like that.
Advancements.
And the different designs of buildings or homes, not brick like ours, but you have to look at rock houses. There has been, for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, there's been some life form who have been building homes, whether it's in the side of a mountain or building, pyramids that took hundreds of years to make. That there's intelligence is coming from somewhere, and you can't tell us that we are the, only smart humans in this era.
Carl Sagan, I think, is the person that originally said the quote, "We are either alone in the universe or we are not, and both are equally terrifying."
Yeah, we're not the only being in this universe. I'm sorry. I'm not, me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But he didn't make us as the only being in this universe. He's not going to be. If God is about life, he made life in all kinds of versions and forms, and that's just, God is God. And I know we're not going to make religion a big part of our podcast, but on the note of the AI religion, where we're going and all that, you have to look at all the friction that's going on with the religion right now, and why is it going on, and how God is pulling people into his world with little strings right now. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to be alive and around when it happens, but pretty sure our grandbabies and great-grandbabies will.
I read an article. I'm trying to pull this up, folks. There was an article that I read many, many years ago, and I gotta click the privacy thing here. It was basically, and I don't know if this is the same article. I just pulled up the similar type thing, but there was something. If I find it again, it was something where they said, "Okay, God exists, right? What if there's multiple universes or multiple planets? Is the God that we say is God our God for our planet, and then there's another God for another planet? Did Jesus only die for us on our planet here, or did he die for the salvation of all life in other existing planets?" It's like, whoa, I never even thought of that.
Well, I know, I believe there's only one God. And I believe he is the creator of all the universes. That I do believe. I mean, God is that big. As far as Jesus, I can't answer. All I know is, he was put here and died on the cross and walked the earth again. Yeah, no, that's a good question.
That's wild.
I mean, I'm going to say if he did it here, why wouldn't he do it someplace else?
Right. What if, I mean, that's like...
There has to be another world.
So if there's another world, and then they got to say, oh, well, Jesus, you got to go to that one and die there too.
Yeah, there's probably a whole nother planet with...
Maybe that plays into the first thing that I was
like
saying. Is it there's a bug flying around.
Oh, is that what Luna was staring at?
It could have been. It was like a little gnat or something. But that could be the whole, like what I was just saying, like God's telling Jesus, okay, you can make humans on this planet, but I'm telling you, as soon as they figure it out, they're going to screw it all up. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, humans are pretty greedy, and they're all about me, I.
It is, yeah.
We'll catch on. I just hope it's not going to be too late.
I think it's going to be a wild ride. We're in for it. It's going to be pretty awesome, though. I think we're gonna live in some of the most awesome. I mean, you think about, like, okay, let's say computers do basically everything we need, right? And we've figured out a solution where we don't need farmers anymore. We don't need people to pick fruit. We don't need people to drive us, people to fly us, people to entertain us. AI is going to entertain us. AI is going to do all this. AI is going to, and we basically, what's our purpose? Just to
I was thinking about how are people going to pay their bills? How are people going to eat?
What if we don't have to worry about food?
Are we not going to have to worry about money or anything?
We don't have to worry about shelter, clothing, all of it, everything.
We're just going to
have tell a robot, hey, go do this.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you just eat whatever. Doesn't matter. It figures out how we end up with, quote unquote, the perfect body. There's no obesity, there's no heart disease, there's no hair loss, there's no anything.
I don't think you'll ever get rid of that just because the human body is what it is.
Oh, there's definitely genetics.
There is, but
they're talking about making kids that are, do you want a kid with blue eyes and blonde hair?
I don't think that's going to go very far, because I think when it comes time for the end, I don't think people are going to have babies. I don't.
Boy, they were talking about that on I'm just going to say it, sex robots.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if a person is not that great in relationships, and we were talking about, hey, relationships are, the key to a good relationship is communication. And that's, if you don't have to communicate with another person, you can just buy a robot and it does everything for you, and it satisfies you in every here. This is where the AI comes in. Oh, this computer robot knows exactly what you like, and it knows how to please you. It knows how to satisfy you. It knows how to do everything to make everything perfect for you. People are gonna stop using the natural way, and they're gonna say, you know what, I'll just take a robot.
But I also think because our biology changes too.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by, you go back, thousands of years, our biology has changed. And I think that the woman's biology, just her body is going to change, and we're not going to be able to carry babies anymore or have them, because, no matter what's going on in the world, I know that God is not so cruel as to continue to let us birth babies and bring them into a world when there's
a bigger plan that we don't know.
For him to say, "Come home, my children."
Yeah.
So I just got chills saying that, because I can't wait for it to happen. I don't want it to happen now, but I'm very excited to finally go home, but not now.
It's like that country song where he says, I'm ready to die, just not today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. A
lot of the things we were reading about how humans interact and how we are, there's just some really mean people out there. Folks, I read this article, and I'm gonna read the.
I have it pulled up.
This is an article that happened. Let me see what the date is here. Friday, 5 January 2024. So it's rather recent. So this month.
Yep,
It says,
January 5th.
basically, the title is A Girl Was Allegedly Raped in the Metaverse. Is this the beginning of a dark new future? They're talking about pressing charges against the people that did this. Now, she definitely suffered.
Oh, yeah.
That's emotional. PTSD, I think, is one of the things that they confirmed.
That is a mind. I want to say the F word, but I'm not.
Yeah.
That is a mind blown, mess somebody up.
Yeah.
This girl will probably never be the same.
British police are,
Because-
I'm just going to read this. British police are investigating the sexual assault of the girl, identified only as being under the age of 16, in what is said to be the first investigation of its kind in the UK. So this is over in United Kingdom. The girl was reportedly wearing a virtual reality headset and playing an immersive game in the metaverse when her avatar was attacked by several others. Was this really rape? Some have asked. The comments on Instagram posts for a story about the case in New York Post were characteristically skeptical. Couldn't she have just turned it off? Can we focus on real life crime, please? I was killed in the video game Call of Duty, one person said sarcastically. Been waiting for my killer to be brought to justice. No. So yeah, I don't think that's I don't know. That's a tough one.
So, I kind of thought that at first because she had turned it off. But when a person when their mind is being held down like that, I've put Maya's VR on.
Yeah.
That is so weird. It is, you are in it.
Immersive. Very.
You are in it. So I cannot imagine being there because you're not looking at your avatar.
Yeah, you are
You
the avatar.
are the avatar. So when you've got this group of people coming up and who are holding you down, you're there. You don't at
It's
this
happening.
point.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of pulling it off. Your arms are being held down.
Okay, so
your legs are being held down.
that kind of reminds me. Have you ever seen those videos where the people have what's that called? Let me look it up real quick. Go ahead, keep
So
talking.
As a woman, that's a little bit stressful, and I believe something should happen to them. On another note, this girl is 16 years old. I do know my granddaughter is not as old as she is, but there are definitely parental controls she cannot go on anything, I think she can only play one game on there right now. And it's for reasons like that. So
I found it.
I feel very bad for this girl for her emotional state right now, because I personally know, being physically not in that degree, but being in a position, what kind of a mind, what mess it put me in. So yeah, I'm stressed out for her.
All right, I'm going to read this. This is kind of where I was going with that. Scientists have made the first recordings of the human brain's awareness of its own body, using the illusion of a strategically placed rubber hand to trick the brain. Have you seen these videos? Mm-hmm. There's some videos out there. It says their findings shed light on disorders of self-perception such as schizophrenia, stroke, and phantom limb syndrome. That's when somebody loses an arm or leg or hand or something, and then they can still feel the pain. It's very real.
Yeah, I knew someone who had their leg amputated from the knee down, and they could feel their foot itching.
Right. So they've done testing, and folks, if you've never seen this is kind of wild. They take a person and they have like a rubber hand, and the hand makes it look like it's coming from the person's real arm, right? Like it's there. And then, but their real hand is down below the table. And what they do is they take, like if it's the person's left hand, the scientist will take their finger and like rub, the scientist will rub the fake hand with their finger, but also the real hand at the same time. So as your brain is seeing the scientist, and you know it's a fake hand. Like, they're not trying to trick the person. Well, they are trying to trick the person.
I was going to say, if he's rubbing the real hand, then he's going to feel it.
Right. But that's to train the brain. What they're doing is they're taking the rubber hand, and the scientist person is like, they'll touch the rubber hand with a feather, and then they'll touch the real hand with a feather. So your brain says, okay, I know what that feels like, right? I know what this feels like. And then they take a hammer and they smash the rubber hand, and the people freak out. They yank their hand back, and they're not really getting hurt, but they can feel it.
But they felt the pain.
They felt the pain.
Yeah.
That's what this is talking about, folks. This is weird. It says they found that one area of the brain, the premotor cortex, integrates information from these different senses to recognize the body. However, because vision tends to dominate, if information from the senses is inconsistent, the brain believes the visual information over the, that's a big word, proprioceptive? Proprioceptive. I don't know if I said that right. Thus, someone immersed in an illusion would feel, for example, that a fake limb was part of their own body. This is real.
Yeah.
I've seen people do this. It's kind of scary. And people have done it even with, like, not under scientific testing. They just say, hey, I'm going to try this. And they do it. And it's pretty wild. I would almost be scared to do that. It seems kind of like you're tricking your own brain. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So do you think the people should be charged?
I do.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I have enough.
These people, and it kind of goes to the hand thing.
Yeah.
These
It's
people
real for her.
Went and this avatar, they knew there was a person behind it, and they were adults.
It's almost, maybe they could be charged with bullying. Because that's real. I mean, if you bully somebody online, that's...
But they didn't. They physically in the metaverse.
Yeah, but that's not physical. That's the point. Yeah.
But
in their physical...
They had their avatars.
Mm-hmm.
So they were standing there with their avatars.
Right.
And you see Maya, you have to act out.
God. Yeah.
And so they all got together and and they did this to this girl.
That's
and
just
yeah. So in my eyes, yes, they do. And no, it has to be more than bullying.
Boy, that's a tough one. It's really tough because you've got to say at some point you go, okay, is this real? What is real?
So my question is was she the first one? Because they knew that they could do it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if more people are going to come out. More young girls, or even young boys for that matter, are going to come out after this.
You know, the anonymity, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Being anonymous online is a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah.
You might think you're free and you have more freedom because you're hiding behind a fake name, or nobody knows really who you are. Because man, people will be vicious online, and they're not like that in real life. Some are, but it's kind of rare.
Yeah.
Usually, you don't have people that open their mouth like they do online in real life. They're not likely to say what they would say if they're going to go off on you online. They're probably not going to do it in real life because most people just don't have the cojones. Yeah,
you're right. A lot of them like to stay behind a screen.
Yeah, they're shallow. They're scared.
Yeah. So there's a sentence, and it kind of goes with what I say. It says, if gone unchecked, sex crimes in the developing world of the metaverse against both children and adults will become more common. And I agree 100%. So yes, they need to be charged.
Oh, it says right here, the question of whether virtual rape is really rape goes back to at least 1993 when the Village Voice published an article by Julian Dibble about a rape in cyberspace. So it's not the first time.
No. And
so 93?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had that.
That was around 93.
Blockheads.
AI's been around for a while. We just didn't know
Yeah.
it because it wasn't, and computers didn't come out like to where we actually had
Everybody
them at
looked like
home and could get
Minecraft
on.
in
Yeah.
'93.
Yeah, so it's let's see, I was reading something.
I'm not laughing at the actual. I'm just laughing at the fact that it was all terrible graphics back then.
Let's see, the metagame Horizon Worlds has reportedly been the site of several sexual assaults.
Man.
Yeah, so it's there, and that's what I mean by if these people are not, a slap on the hand isn't going to work because they're just going to go and do it again. So,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, and so the thing about it is if they are charged and found guilty, they won't be able to get online anymore,
Yeah.
which they don't need to get online if this is what they're doing. She was 16. It's not good either way, whether they're an adult or a child. She was 16.
Yeah.
So,
And some, that it goes back to some people will say, "Oh, 16's old enough to make adult decisions."
no, she's 16.
Each person is different, though. You can charge a 16-year-old murder.
Oh, yeah.
As an adult, it happens.
Thank you. You sent that gnat over here
Oh,
to
wow.
me. Yeah.
It's yours now.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. You can take it back. Yeah, so that's going to be a pretty controversial conversation. Yeah, we're probably going to hear more about that. So that's like when I had her get off because that one kid was being ugly to her. And the other, I guess he was being really ugly to the other kids too. And I told Maya to get off. I'm like, you do not. A kid should not talk to you like that. And I guess, her dad gets on there and tells him to stop talking like that. I'm like, no, you're just not going to get back in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Boy, AI is definitely going to change the world. That's for sure.
yeah, I was a little bit alarmed that Maya was so involved in it because of her age. But she has to be. If she's not, she's going to be so far behind.
Yeah, you can't.
And her artistic ability, she probably needs to be, because who knows where she's going to go in life with,
Speaking of artistic, have you you saw the thing about the bunny? It went viral.
Oh, that little bunny.
Make it happier.
That's funny.
Yeah, people are getting pretty creative, with the AI. So there's some good things, we're gonna be able to have.
It could be a good thing if people just don't take advantage and think, oh, I'm gonna, be ruler of the world. It's not about that. But unfortunately, we have power hungry people in control. And, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay.
Right on. Give me a number. Let's get away from this. This is kind of a sad subject. Yeah, give me a number. Give me a 3-digit. I think it goes up to. Let's do this, folks. Let's get this fancy schmancy. Yeah, 849 is the highest. So anything between 1 and 849.
Let's
roll the dice.
Do 423. And while he's looking that up, at some point we will have you guys, when we are on, we can ask questions and you guys can be active. We have to figure out how to get that done. I should know since I'm taking classes in AI, but I don't. But my computer tech husband should be able to. But we're going to get it figured out one day to where we want to get you guys a little bit more involved while we're doing our podcast. But as we're doing them live. So we will get there. We just have to get our persona here on this end better because we're still newbies, still trying to figure it out. So,
all right, today's word of the day, folks. Here it is. Jocose. I think I'm saying that right. I'm going to click this button. Jocose. Yep. Jocose.
Jocose.
Jocose. Jocose. Jocose. It's an adjective.
Jocose. Okay. Jocose.
It's given to joking, merry, characterized by joking, humorous, given to jokes and jesting, containing a joke or abounding in jokes, merry, sportive, humorous.
That was a good word for the day.
Jocose.
Yes,
Jocose.
that was a good word.
All right, folks, use it.
Yes.
Get that new word, and then, if you have a word, I can't. I was talking about this with somebody at work today. I personally invented 2 words, but I can only think of one of them. I can't remember what the other one is.
I thought you invented them.
Oh no, this one was.
What was
Remember so the first one I invented. Hear this one out, folks. You ever hear somebody cough, but you're not sure if it's a sneeze or a cough or what's going on? You can't really say "excuse you" because that kind of sounds rude.
You didn't make that word up.
No, I haven't said the word.
Oh.
It's bless-excuse you.
Yeah, bless-excuse you.
It's a combination between bless you and excuse you.
Yeah,
bless-excuse you.
You didn't make that word up.
I'm claiming it.
I've been using that word before I met you.
I'm claiming it.
You can't claim that word.
Let's look it up. Let's see if it exists.
Actually, I'm just going to say it right here.
Nope, it does not. It's not in there.
Because my mom's been using it since I was little.
Bless-excuse.
you.
Yeah, it's not in there. I use DuckDuckGo. Bless-excuse. Maybe there's not enough S's. I don't know.
I can't look it up because my keyboard's too noisy. I tried to Google it, but it said rescue you.
Yeah.
That means I need rescuing help.
Help. Rapunzel, throw down your hair. Yeah, bless-excuse you. I can't remember the other word. I had another word. I can't remember what it is. This is where my bad memory comes in, or, goes out, I guess.
Is it stupefy?
Oh, yeah. It was if I have a stupiphany.
Stupiphany,
Yes.
that's what it was.
Folks, if you have what you think is a really, like an epiphany, right? And epiphany that's a real word. That's when you have this overwhelming discovery of something that you just realize, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, Clark Kent was Superman. It's an epiphany. But if you have a really stupid epiphany, like, oh, this is so dumb, I can't believe I realized this, I would call that a stupiphany. So that's my other made-up word. Let's make it real. Somebody call Webster's. No? Dictionary.com?
Yeah, you should.
Bless-excuse you and stupiphany. Those are my words. Mark them down. I don't want a nickel every time someone says it, though. I'm not like that. Remember, you ever heard people say that? Oh, I wish I had a nickel every time. I don't need a nickel,
get too
folks.
Full.
That was fun. I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good word. I got to mark it off. Let me go back. What was it? Jocose. All right. Folks.
Yep.
Done.
All right.
That one's done. All right, folks. Thank you for listening. I want to thank all the other podcasters that do listen to us, and friends and family for listening, tuning in, however you want to call it. It's not really a radio show. It's a podcast.
Yep.
But thank you for listening. We appreciate you because we like to talk.
We do. And thank you for bearing with us while we're starting to get our footing. We know we sound like a new podcast, but we'll get there.
That's because we are.
Yeah.
We're new, folks.
We are. We haven't been doing this for, years. Just for a couple months. So
but hey,
bear with us. And again, let us know. Email us contact us at The Louder Tales. Let us know if you have any questions or if there's something you would like to know or if you have a word of the day or anything that we've talked about on any of the podcasts. Leave a comment. Let us know.
Yep.
We will definitely do that. And again, at some point, we'll be able to do a couple live episodes that we can interact with you guys. And at some point, we will have premium podcast. That means that's where we will get a little bit more serious about certain topics.
Yeah, because there's some stuff we really can't say, kind of self-censored, but also,
we want to leave this one open. This is for everybody, but our other one is,
Our biggest thing, and I think we're both on the same page with this, is our goal is not to make someone think or believe a certain way. That's why we don't want to really.
And as
religion
you can see,
and politics is kind of. We'll talk about it, but not right.
Tim and I we do have different opinions on subjects, so it's we're not that's why him and I get along so well, because we both have, not with everything, a lot of things we do think alike, but we both have different ideas and different thoughts and different feelings about some stuff. So
before we go, do you want to talk a little bit more about how our journey made some changes recently?
With our marriage?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. If
this
you're
is-
comfortable with doing it.
Folks, this is something that a lot of people may not be comfortable talking about, and I'm not really comfortable, but I'm not comfortable, I guess is the best way to explain that. We got to a point in our marriage where things kind of slowed down, and we weren't really talking to each other the way we should have. And I'm going to sneeze. Hang on.
Bless you. Was that excuse you or just a bless you?
No, that was just a regular old bless you. It was a regular old sneeze.
Okay.
I made some decisions. They're not great. And I ended up seeing someone. And that person's still important to me. And
So why they might be confused on why we had hit a point in our marriage where I felt I needed to move out. So I
like
had
moved, move out of the house.
Yeah, I did not take all my stuff. I only took, some clothes, some stuff I still had, a lot of my clothes here. So, and I did not move out with the intention of us not getting back together. I'd moved out with the intention of both of us getting our minds together.
Kind of like a regroup.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, it wasn't a goodbye. It was a let's figure this out.
Yep. So I was doing my regrouping. He was doing his regrouping.
I regrouped with another woman, and that's not the right answer, folks.
I can laugh about it now. So
that's not something a lot of people will openly talk about, and it's
and don't think that because I am sitting here okay with it that I'm just that type. No, he did not cheat on me. He did not leave me at home to go see this other woman. He was confused. I walked out of the house. In his mind, other things were happening. So
it really came down to the whole communication thing. We weren't communicating right.
Yeah, it was bad. I was really busy at work. I was a sales area manager for a store, and I had the biggest departments, and I was so busy. It was such a rough time. So I wasn't able to call him or go see him as much as I had. So
there was a lack of communication. There was a lack of physical intimacy, and guys are
and that had been for actually
demanding.
A couple years, I think 3-4 years.
Yeah, it kind of went down a little bit, and
there was other situations involved that, he was really stressed out, and it had me stressed out. So, in other words, our marriage was falling apart.
Yeah, it was.
And he almost hightailed and ran. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I love my husband, and we made vows, and I know he loved me. So I fought for our marriage, and it worked. He remembered that he loved me.
Yeah.
That, or he just got tired of seeing the crazy old me. I don't know. No.
That's one of those things that it's not easy to talk about, but it's I'm okay with talking about it.
Yeah.
It's something that it was a part of my life.
It happened.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yes.
It's one of those things. I did what I did, and if I could undo that, I would. But I would also not undo it, because I think it made me a stronger husband for who I am now.
It did. It probably made me a better wife as well, or a stronger wife, I should say.
Yeah.
I think it brought
It ended up working
reality.
for us
Yeah.
is the end result. And it's not, like I said, folks, this isn't something where if you think your marriage is on the rocks, oh, go find someone else.
Don't do
That's
I
not
don't
what we're
yeah,
saying.
don't do it, because let me tell you, the heartbreak that I felt, the heartbreak that he felt when I moved out, it was a two-way street.
That loss,
I
I'm telling
am
you.
not upset that he talks to her. He waited until he knew I was at a spot to where I was comfortable. So he talks to her. They are friends. She needs a friend. They, had spent an intimate time together, and I'm okay with that. He lets me know that they're talking. So she also knows where he stands, and she knows that he's my person and I'm his person.
It's important to find someone like that in life, because
It
if you really know that other person, you know how that person is in that communication, that bond. That's something that everybody really needs.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody out there listening, make a better relationship, be a better person.
Yeah.
Do what you can to communicate better.
You can. And if your marriage is struggling or your relationship, don't give up. Sit down, communicate, see what both of you can do better, see what the actual problem is, and see if you can fix it. I will tell you, I think our marriage, we are happier now than probably we were when we first got married.
Yeah.
I mean, we are at such a good point in our marriage right now and in our lives. We act like young teenagers sometimes when we're giggling in the kitchen.
We're doing a podcast.
Yeah, doing a podcast. But no, we're really good in our marriage, and we're really good as friends and parents and grandparents.
Be a friend.
We're good.
I think communication, you almost, it was the same thing, right now. I'm struggling right now because my kids have kind of said, nope, don't want to deal with you. And I'm sure part of it's my fault, but part of it is definitely their fault. They don't want to take responsibility.
Boys.
But, on the same note, they're 18. They are going to be going on their own adventure in life. And that doesn't always include their parents.
Yeah, and another thing, boys are always closer with their mom. And that's the one thing that they've always been, is mama's boys. Even when mom wasn't here, they've always been mama's boys. They'll be a man one day.
Yeah.
And that's when dad's going to be the important one.
At some point, they're going to realize, you know what, it's kind of stupid to not include my dad, But it's tough. It's tough for me. I'm vulnerable. I'm emotionally a wreck. When I miss my boys, I miss them.
It's breaking his heart, but he knows that they will be back. It just, and
time wounds all heals. Time heals all wounds.
Yeah, time wounds all heals. And I
you
do
walk around
remind
enough.
him that even if they had a good relationship, they would be moved out. And they wouldn't be calling him, and they wouldn't be, because they would be 18 years old and out on their own in the world.
Yeah,
and
sometimes that
time.
strength has to happen because they are by themselves.
Yeah,
but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Even my older kids are starting to come back around, and it's like, what is the time frame for when you, as a child, as a newly adult, you're 18 and you start to become your own independent person, you're going to kind of stray from your parents. It even talks about that in the Bible. Yeah. And it's, it's a fact of life. Yeah. Kids go through these stages as adults. And I did it when I was 18, 19, 20, however old I was. And you kind of separate from your parents and you become your own person. And I have to recognize that. And it's difficult because there's a lot more to it, folks. Man, I've got a whopper of a story.
Shows,
yeah, we'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
But it's
for me, it's different, and that's where I say, didn't mean to. I hit my microphone. Yeah. I talk to my mom maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. So, but we have that relationship. It's she knows that I'm living my life. I know that she's living hers. And it's been like that.
It's not intended to be a distant, but it works that way.
Yeah. She's letting me live my life and I'm letting her live hers. She calls me if she needs to. Just like I called her the other day to make sure that she understood that I was writing a book and she didn't have any choice,
Yes, Mom, if you're listening, I'm probably going to call you after I'm done with this show. I should call my parents.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a week or more, but yeah, we definitely, that's a big thing, communication and relationships is huge.
Yes. A lot of times it's the other one, the they're blaming each other instead of stepping back and what am I doing to be part of this problem
and telling the other person how you feel. That's not easy to both say and listen to. It's hard because that's the crux of where the breakdown in communication is. I'll tell you, folks, we just very, very, very briefly talked about my ex and how she has influenced my sons. And there was a time, I'm going to be honest, where a judge had ruled that they were very concerned about the mother's behavior. And they actually ordered her to undergo a full psychological evaluation. That's pretty significant.
And he'll explain that on another podcast.
We'll go on another podcast and we'll talk about that but let me tell you folks, that's intense when a judge says, hey, you're crazy. Got the documentation to prove it. And it's wild. But I know that she cares about the kids. And she loves them and may not always make the right decisions, as most people.
She loves her kids. She's just not a healthy mother.
Yeah, not at this stage, not where she's not making the right decisions. I mean,
but
we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But that's not a right now statement.
Yeah,
but
that's a
folks, love your parents, love your kids, love your relationship,
love your friends.
Yep.
Friends are important too.
Oh yeah,
just love. That's just love. Even the people who you think you don't like.
Try to be genuine. Don't
realize that if their attitude or whatever it is, there might be a reason behind it.
Hey, they could be going through something that you don't know because of communication. They're not talking about it.
Look at Ray. He was not himself last night.
That could have been from the lack of sleep.
No, he told me what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't lack of sleep. It was lack of
the bond.
No, it was lack of smartness from somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's just this world needs more love.
Yep.
It's just negate the AI, be human. That's the one thing I do know that God did put in all of us and create us for is love.
That's the one thing that I think AI is going to be lacking is how is that emotion going to be programmed? How are you going to program a machine to love someone?
Yeah. That's just not love each other. If you don't have a pet, you want one, go to a shelter, adopt a pet, a dog or a cat, but only if you really want to, because I know they're all.
I was thinking about this when I went to Walmart to go get some stuff, and part of the stuff I was getting was cat litter, and I was like,
"Oh, you thought about getting your wife another dog?"
No, that's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking I get this. People will complain about their cats or dogs, and they'll be like, "Oh, my cat's horrible," and blah blah blah. I got to thinking about that. I was like, you know what? What if you're not changing your cat litter box very often, and your cat is like, "Hey, I'm trying to tell you something." It's another form of communication.
Or maybe they're hungry, or maybe they're not eating the right food, and their food is making them uncomfortable.
Boy, animals are sure
or
companion.
Maybe they're not getting loved on.
Love on your animals.
Or maybe their owner is mean to them.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be nice.
We have our land otter, who is just a really fat cat, but she lays on her back all the time, and she's so fat she looks like an otter.
Okay, so the reason why she looks like an otter, folks, imagine this. The cat lays on, she's on her back. She's probably a 20-pound cat, so she's pretty fat.
She's not 20 pounds.
But she sits there on her back, so her belly is exposed, and then she hooks her front claws downward like she's...
Just like a sea otter.
Like
Look at a picture of a sea otter, that's her.
Yeah, if you look up a sea otter, sleeping in the water, whatever.
We might have to put a picture of her up, too. We'll just put a picture of all of our animals.
All right, folks, we got 3 pictures coming. The handprints on the glass, the dog with his spike on his back, and then
with his head hanging out.
Yeah, and the handlebar ears. We got to do that, too. Man, we're going to have to post some pictures, folks.
We also have 2 sugar gliders, so there you go.
Yeah. Jack and Diane.
Yes, Jack and Diane.
Just a little ditty.
Just sing it because I know you want to. Do it.
Our animals have a lot of musical type names. We got Jack and Diane, and we got Cobain.
Luna and Liza are not musical. They're just fat cats.
Yeah, they're just cats.
Yeah.
But one day I'm going to have a crow friend. I'm working on that, folks.
Yes.
You ever seen that? Where people make a crow their friend?
You told me that.
Yeah.
I actually put
if you didn't know that,
description of that in my book.
Crows like walnuts. And that's also a squirrel's favorite, too, is walnuts. Mark Rober did if you've ever seen that genius Mark Rober, he does some pretty cool.
Love.
Yeah, he did a video on squirrel mazes and then intelligence. He did this starting with COVID. And it's pretty cool, but he figured out that squirrels like those. Anyways, folks, we're just going on and on. We got to cut this off. We got to get some ending.
We got to feed our sugar gliders.
Yeah, we do.
It's there.
Thank you for listening again, folks. We'll say it again. But you guys
thank you. We appreciate all of you.
You're motivating us to keep doing these podcasts. The louder tales.
Yes, the louder tales.
These are our tales.
Yes, and whenever we can get a guest in here.
Yeah, we'll
tales.
Have some guests, and we're working on some fun ones. Let me tell you, folks.
Yep.
You're going to love them.
Yes, absolutely. All right, everyone.
Stories. Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one, and until next time.
Right on. Thanks. We'll see you later.
We hope you enjoyed today's show, and thanks for listening to the Louder Tales podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.